my multi-platform product. The aim is to create a multi-platform tourism website to be made for Chichester Cathedral. This website will be suitable for computers and mobile devices, and that will be accessible via a QR code. So basically, if you have any questions at the end, and if you can think of anything throughout that I've missed or that you can help me with, that would be much appreciated. Okay, the client and audience needs. The client requires a multi-platform production. This function is to guide tourists around Chichester Cathedral. The multi-platform product must be multilingual and have at least 2 different platforms to convey the required information. So firstly, research was done into several different pieces of software and hardware. These included QR codes, websites, and mobile apps. Basically what I did next was write up a list of advantages and disadvantages to try and work out which is the best and most appropriate software to use. Okay, the first one was the QR codes. Just for anyone that's not familiar with it, it's just a short video. Yeah, it just explains what it is. It's basically just that image there. You can scan with an app, and it will take you to a website. It will link you straight directly to a website. The idea is, for the tourism website, we place these in and around the cathedral. They're quite easy. You can just put them on anything, basically. They're a quick and easy way of redirecting the visitors to specific information in a website. They're easy to create. You basically just write the link to the website into a website, and it will make the little image for you. They're free, so there's no budget required to make them. Disadvantages is that if you look at the image, it doesn't really match sort of the look of the cathedral. So having them sort of posted around the cathedral might not look the best. Visitors must have the app on their phone to actually scan it in the first place as well, and they must have smartphones, which kind of links to my target audience, because when we visited the cathedral, the visitors tend to be quite sort of elderly, and they probably wouldn't have this technology. So the target audience is quite young, but I'll explain that later. Finally, the user must have an internet connection, obviously, to connect to a website. I haven't checked everywhere in the cathedral, so I'm not sure how the signal is all the way around, which is a problem. Okay, the next platform I researched was websites. Basically, websites are sort of an everyday part of life now, really. The majority of people, regardless of age, with this one, will know how to use it. They're also very easy to update and change in case there's anything wrong or if information needs to be changed. Disadvantages, the load time can be a problem, especially on smartphones, because I think most of us have smartphones. Sometimes it can take quite a long time to load the internet. Finally, I looked at phone apps. The advantages is once you've installed this app on your phone, it's there for whenever you visit, basically, and again, it's easy to update and change. Disadvantage is most people probably would visit the cathedral once, or some people, so you only use it once, so then you have kind of a useless app on your phone that takes up memory, and yeah, you might not use it more than once. Okay, target audience I touched on a minute ago. The product will include a wide range of people. The key target audience I think will probably be a younger age, probably between the age of 14 and 30, purely down to the use of the QR codes and the technology, and that kind of age range is more used to using it, really. Also, the majority of non-English speaking visitors will be from here or the university, which will, well, particularly for tourism purposes, will bring the target audience age lower again. I did look at some research though, and it said that most people own smartphones and tablets, and are aged between 45 and 50. So they should be taken into consideration. But really, other than that, I think sort of the elderly wouldn't really use this information, and obviously school children, they go there, but they won't have phones or smartphones or anything like that. Okay, in the end, I decided to use the QR codes. The QR codes will link to a website. This was down to the fact that the QR codes, they're easy to make, easy to place around the cathedral, and they're quite simple to use. Basically, when you visit, you can pick and choose what you want, what the information you want to look at. Also, the target audience, as I said, should be able to use this. The website that we'll link to for the mobile will be a more simplified version. So basically, just say there's a QR code on kind of a statue in the cathedral or something. You can use your app, and it will link you to a mobile website that will then tell you information about that statue or that piece of work. Then the website for the PC, there was two separate websites, will be a more in-depth version of the mobile one, and will let you go on a tour around, show videos, and take you on a tour around the cathedral, which you wouldn't need on the mobile, obviously, because you'll be there. Oh yeah, the reason I didn't use the app also is because I just personally, I think the time it takes to download wouldn't really be worth it. It might put people off using it. Okay. Next, I looked at sort of the design and what I wanted my website to actually look like. The above image is something I wanted to avoid. A lot of text and a lot of it's quite cluttered, really. I wanted my website to be easily accessible, and I think, especially for the young target audience, that's not really the kind of thing that we look at, really. I think the image below is much more up to date, it's a bit more modernised, and it's still quite cluttered, really, but it's kind of an organised mess, really. There's a lot of information on that, but the site I'm making is purely for tourism purposes of Chichester Cathedral, so I won't need a lot of that information, so my website design will be a lot simpler than that. I'm looking to use these as kind of inspiration behind the design. As you can see, the bottom image is like clearly displayed sections, and you can kind of imagine them having like rollover effects. When you roll the mouse over it, then a piece of information will appear, and it will link you to a new part of the cathedral. And also, particularly with the bottom image, I liked the use of colour on sort of dull background, because it makes each section stand out. I think that's quite important for the website. Okay, so finally, this is just looking at I looked at the BBC website, because they have a separate website for both the mobile and the computer. And this is something that I just personally use and that I quite like. And it kind of helps sum up my idea in that they display similar information, but the mobile app on the right hand side is, or the mobile version, sorry, of the website, it's much more simplified, really. and that's the kind of thing I want for mine. It only shows sort of the key information. Okay, so next stage in design, what I'll actually use. So I looked at the Chichester Cathedral website that they already have, and they have a floor plan that shows each section of the cathedral. And I quite liked that because I wanted to have the key areas kind of mapped out on my design, but I wanted to kind of modernise it, sort of fit the target audience again. So here's just a quick video to show my website will kind of look like. You begin on the language page, because obviously it'll be open to a lot of different nationalities. There's 3 there for now, but it's just an example. So you begin on the language page, you pick your language, and then this is the floor plan design, with each dot being a different section that you can enter. So you roll over the dot and it would enlarge, and text and an image would appear of that section. You would then click to enter that section, and you've got the text information of that area. To the left will be a video tour, so it'll just be a video of walking around that area, displaying each key bit, and then you can skip to each key area within that section. For the mobile website, the only difference really would be obviously you can't have rollover effects on the phone, so the name of each section will be already written, and you can just enter them. Obviously with the QR code it will link you straight to the right area, but you can also visit just normally. The QR code will take you to the section, and you can read up on it, just gain new information. Okay, to summarise, the QR codes will be placed in key locations around the cathedral and will be vital for the website and the mobile device. The idea being that a visitor to the cathedral can learn information on these key areas. For example, a QR code can be placed on a statue, the visitor can then scan the code on that statue, get transported to the mobile website, and then learn more about it. This educational piece of information will be for interested adult visitors, teenagers, and also for children who visit the cathedral with their schools. Therefore, the mobile website will be simplistic but educational and easy to use. The website for the computer will be more in-depth than the one planned for mobile device. This will allow users to take a virtual tour, as you can see with the video that was there, of the cathedral and travel to each of the key areas mentioned before. The website will take a simplistic image-based approach to its design. It will show each key area of the cathedral, allowing the user to enter each area. Each section will then have pictures and video as well as text and information to educate the user. Okay, finally, just the legal and ethical considerations of the project. Consideration must be made towards the cathedral, obviously, because of religious beliefs. And consent should be given from the cathedral, really, when making any religious statements on the website. It would be important not to encourage or support hate mongering on this website, although certain religions linked to the cathedral, it does not mean others' beliefs should be belittled. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Russell. Well done. Right, let's open it to the floor. Does anyone have any initial comments that may help Russell focus?
Would there be some form of integration of audio in your product?
Yes, sorry, I forgot to mention that. In the video, it will talk you through each area. As you basically, if you imagine the video walking around and stopping at certain pieces of work or points of interest, and audio will talk you through it.
So when your sort of your vision of this Google Map type affair of this panamatic video that happens on the web page,
yeah.
When it stops, because I just want to get it clear in my mind, when it stops, that will trigger some kind of narrative, audio narrative.
Yes, actually, if I get back to it. But yeah, the idea is that main video is of sort of walking around, and it will stop at each
of those
section,
points,
just within a section. So there's kind of things within each section. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah.
And you can skip to the bottom bit, and that's it will kind of walk up to it and stop, which is the first section there.
Okay.
Audio will
then trigger, and then we'll have an
audio will talk. Then we'll move on to the next one and so on.
Okay, so those four little smaller inset images there, are they going to work kind of like chapter markers?
Yes.
Right, okay. All right. Is there any other questions anyone wants to ask, perhaps? Any particular improvements?
It wasn't an improvement, it was just a query on, you said that, it was about the target audience, like 45 to 50-year-olds. I don't use iPads and smartphones.
Well, they are growing the most in the UK.
Is that correct stat? That just doesn't sound right to me.
Where did you get the stat from?
No, it's from confused.com.
Confused.com. Okay. You might need to cross-reference that statistic, Russell.
But other than that,
any other comments, Manisha? Do you want to?
I can't really think of anything much at the moment, apart from maybe with the main floor plan. You've got the. You've got the dots, but they're placed. To me, it looks like they're placed outside of the cathedral.
Okay, yeah, they should show which area it's pointing to.
In terms of if you wanted to find where exactly each one is, well, roughly, in the cathedral.
Or maybe you should display words saying which area it is,
Right.
arrows, or that makes sense.
Yeah.
When you come to apply this then, Russell, you probably need to make a note of that and adjust that. Okay, if there are no more questions...
I'd just like to ask a little bit about the ordinary browser-based version. Would you expect people to be going around with laptops? What's the need for a browser-based version at all?
Just for, if you want to know about cathedrals.
Right.
So remote
about what actually being there.
Okay, so that brings me to like a second question, which would be, if you have a browser-based version that I can access at home, what's the incentive of going?
Well, that's for more tourism purposes. Would you rather be somewhere than sort of watch it on TV or look at the screen?
I think
what I'm looking for is why the product is getting me to go there. What's the extra bonus that I get?
Do you mean, if you look at it online, where would you want to go?
Yeah, I see what Dan's saying.
Well, no.
Well,
I don't need to be there to see the same content.
it's hard.
Which I guess takes me to my next question, which would be, in your presentation, which I think it's really good actually. I think my main thing is I wasn't able to see other products that you had considered that might have given you those ideas.
Yeah.
So by in-depth research and investigating into products that use location, GPS, and those kind of things inventively, maybe augmented reality, that kind of thing. you get a bonus experience by using the technology and being in the location.
Okay.
Does that?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I think that's about it. Same. Okay, food for thought, Russell.
Yeah.
Thank
I'll
you.
make a note of that.
Okay, Venetia, if you'd like to set up very quickly, that would be great.